Yet again. Sorry for if there's any weird noises in the background. It's a Friday night, so people are going to be pretty active outside, so you might hear some hooting and hollering in the background. I'm in college. So today I'll be giving an update on some current things that I'm working on after I talk about our first big topic here, or the big topic, and that is how creative mode affected Minecraft. Now, you've probably heard, me talk about this before in one of my videos on the main Quizstones channel called The Fall of Old Minecraft. But someone's comment has very much changed my perspective, and a little bit of experience too, on creative mode and how it affected Minecraft. On the previous video, a YouTuber by the name of Greyface commented and said, basically that the thing that the creative mode did was it separated survival from the creative part of Minecraft. This couldn't be more true. Now, I've been saying for a while that creativity actually hurt the creativity of Minecraft because it just kind of burns you out. Because instead of, working for a while and building up your work ethic and then putting all that effort into building something big, I believe that more creativity, or I used to believe that more creativity was put into that than if someone just had creative mode, had everything in their hands, and was able to build it like this. Just a snap of the fingers. Well, of course, not a snap of the fingers. Still going to take a while, but way less than if you actually worked for it. I mean, I kind of had a sort of idea there of how creative mode affected Minecraft with the creativity and survival, but it's not too accurate. I believe now creativity has affected Minecraft in a much different way. It has not killed the creativity of Minecraft. I mean, for us who played the old versions back in the day and all of a sudden were introduced to creative mode, outside of, maybe you installed a mod to give yourself, in a sense, a creative mode, but I never did that. And suddenly being introduced to creative mode, you could build everything. You could just... Diamonds and stuff like that got devalued because you could just build stacks of them just because creative mode. It kind of messed with survival in a certain aspect, and it messed with creativity because, I was able to build everything I wanted to within a range of a few minutes. But that doesn't mean it affected everyone like that. In fact, it really didn't. Mostly after creative mode had its effect and its initial effect and grew out to be something more today. One thing that really proved me wrong in that area was that my roommate was showing me a world him and his friends played on, and it was a creative world. It wasn't a flat land, it was an actual terrain, but they built in creative mode on the terrain, and they built some pretty cool stuff, like on par or possibly even a little bit better than some of the stuff built on our NFC servers. And I was like, well, I believe I've got a wrong opinion. So here's what creative mode actually did to Minecraft, and I'm pretty sure this is true. I believe my original opinion was a little bit radical, and I even kind of thought it was a little radical, but I thought it had some truth in it. But I knew something was a little off in it, because creative mode doesn't burn out your creativity. In fact, it sometimes helps it. You're able to build stuff faster. So that means if you design stuff beforehand, you don't have to go through survival to do all that. You can use creative mode to build some much larger structures that look pretty elegant that you wouldn't really be able to do in survival. So it has its own pros and cons in a way, and we'll talk about the cons of it affecting Minecraft, not necessarily creative mode itself affecting creativity. I actually don't think it really did that. It just kind of did that to us who weren't used to creative mode. It burned out us for quite a while. It messed with us a little bit. And here's how it messed with us. And not just us, but it also messed with Minecraft in general. Creative mode separated creativity from survival. You see, once creative mode added in, or before creative mode was added in order to build anything or be, creative in single player, unless you wanted cheat mods, creativity, building really cool stuff, and survival were one. But when modern Minecraft updated to 1.8.1 beta, creative mode separated itself from survival or creativity. Because now, if you want to go build some stuff in a legit manner, you go to creative servers. If you want to survive And with that, grind, XP, like do missions, fight. You go to survival servers. They're not connected anymore. I mean, granted, you can build stuff in survival servers, but what are you doing that for when you can go do it, 10 times faster and way safer in a creative server? That is how creative mode has actually affected Minecraft. Now, is that good or bad? Because that is actually up for debate. It definitely has altered Minecraft quite a bit. I almost want to say, it was better for creativity. If you go look at a guy's video I watched recently, and it says a lot about what I'm saying here, and I'll link it down in the description, he basically had a little bit of nostalgia, and he went back and looked at a lighthouse he built when he first joined Minecraft in beta 1.1 or something like that. Now, he didn't have his exact world, but he had a screenshot, and he was like, all I need is the screenshot to remember how I built it. So he decided to go back in beta 1.1 after been playing modern versions, to just rebuild it. That's all he did. And then he was like, alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and rebuild it in modern Minecraft how I would today. It looked way better. It looked pretty cool. Now, of course, he just kind of rebuilt, one of his first houses, and then he built another one with a lot of experience, but with his creative mode and him being able to fly around, he was able to make this lighthouse that he built in beta look way better, and it took way shorter, and, it didn't affect his creativity. He put as much effort into it as he would have in survival. But he made an interesting remark. He was like, Minecraft was a little bit more unforgiving in these days, because I had to build this in survival. I couldn't build this in creative mode. But for some reason, it was pretty fun. Like, he just admitted, like, this was quite almost as if it was a little bit more fun, or a lot more fun than he expected, than just building something in creative mode. So I believe one of the biggest things of old Minecraft was having that creativity mixed in with survival. And the entire experience being in one world. Not just in one game, or game mode. Everything happened and could happen in one world. Now, granted, of course, you could still have that today in modern Minecraft, but it doesn't make as much sense when you could just use creative mode to build stuff much quicker, or go to survival for the fighting experience. And this is what also heavily affected survival. You don't go to survival to build anymore. You go to survival to grind, to fight, to XP, to get to the end. I mentioned that earlier, but that's why, to me, survival felt so dry after creative mode was added in. Not because creative mode burnt out creativity, but because creative mode sucked out the creativity from survival. And that was not old Minecraft. Now, if you really do like your action, if you really do like grinding, if you really do like getting to the end and doing that adventure, modern Minecraft's great. Modern Minecraft survival mode is a much more mission-based, fighting-based thing, and that's why I feel like there's an emphasis on fighting in modern Minecraft, because creativity sucked out the creative, sort of relaxed mode out of survival, and survival became this fighting, grinding thing. Now, has modern Minecraft really focused that much more on fighting as to the adventure and exploration? Actually, no. They've added in all kinds of cool stuff in the terrain. They've added all kinds of new biomes. There's all kinds of new stuff that generates in the terrain that makes it a lot more unique, and they've really worked on the generator pretty well, and it looks nice today. Creativity and survival are separated in modern. And I believe that is one of the most key things that made modern Minecraft so unique. Is because everything was connected together. Everything that you did it could all happen in one world. Whether you wanted to set yourself on a mission to do something, or you wanted to build the biggest thing, or you wanted to just conquer all the caves, it was all in one world. And that is something that I need to focus on in New Frontiercraft. Make sure that everything is still connected as one, and one experience in one world. Not just game mode, one world. So I do need to be a little bit careful about making survival not too hard, because then that really puts the people who like to build a lot sort of on the back burner because it's a little harder to get to the point of actually building. Now, I've made New Frontier Craft harder because I think, us experienced Minecraft players need a challenge. Now, I have made it a lot less difficult than it used to be, but I still got to be careful about that. But from this aspect, I do want to promote creativity a little bit more and some fascism. I need sleep. I honestly don't even know what I was going to say. I need to promote creativity in some new way. I mean, I can add in building blocks, but I am unsure if that's really going to do too much. I mean, you got new building blocks, and that's great. You can create a couple of new combinations of blocks, and I mean, I've seen creativity grown a bit in New Frontier Craft as to just normal beta because there's new blocks, and they like to experiment with some of the new blocks. I mean, the new stone bricks where you can have all kinds of different offsets, you can make all kinds of cool patterns. That's good stuff right there. But I gotta think of more ways to promote creativity at the same time because that was with the Minecraft experience too. So yeah, conclusion, creativity separated separated the creativity from survival. That's what made a very large difference in how modern Minecraft feels in both survival and creative mode, because it used to all be one thing. And that's what I gotta focus on with New Frontier Craft. Now, updates. I am trying to be pretty active on the forums. I am checking it on an almost every 5-hour basis just to reply to new people or new threads. I've created a blog for the developers for us to be able to, because we used to chat, or we've always chatted a lot about New Frontier Craft in the background. And if you guys were to see those conversations of possible future developments and whatnot, I think you guys would, you'd be a lot more in tune with what we're planning to do with New Frontier Craft, and you'd probably be a lot more interested because you don't see it as much on the videos. I mean, I gave you some hints on some things, but if you saw our developer chat, we got some interesting conversations of things we can add in. So that's on the forums now. We also have a new little chat box on the forums. Also, I'm looking for really cool seeds to use for the next New Frontier Craft world. And remember, the New Frontier Craft generator is just beta 1.7.3 at its core. So if you got some cool beta 1.7.3 seeds that you can find, post them on the topic in the forums. I'll check them out and might use them for the next world. I do have a server running at the moment, and I have a post about that in the staff blog that you guys can come help and join and test. And there's one other thing that's pretty serious, and that is because this current New Frontier Craft world is not going to be, or it is going to be temporary, because this is a test world, this is me trying to get out bugs as I detect them. There is going to be a purpose to this world, and that is to build a structure, to put it simply. Now, there are requirements. It has to be on a flat ground, and I want an appearance of an abandoned-like house, or just structure in general. Just go for an abandoned look, or build something simple that's not really a house or something that would house someone. Or you could just build a unique looking structure that looks kind of worn down, or I don't know, you could get creative in that area. Now, you might be asking, what is this for? This is actually for new things that I'm going to try to generate into the terrain. So if you build something really cool that I think works pretty well, like this here, I think works good. I don't know if I'll actually add it in, but this is an example. Put in a chest somewhere for me to generate some loot, in case someone finds an abandoned structure like this generating the terrain. And again, if you're building like a structure, not really a house, it doesn't have to have a chest. If you build something pretty cool, it might be in New Frontier Craft forever. I might use it as a structure that generates in the terrain, rarely, I mean, I'm going to add in a bunch of structures that all generate in their own rarity. So that means eventually I'll add in quite enough that, you know, if you generate a single player world, it won't take too long until you find some sort of structure that's generating the terrain. You know, not like a village with people in it. I'm not doing that. Minecraft, mostly in single player, has this alone feeling, and I'm going to keep that in place by having structures generated that don't have villagers or anything like that. They're all going to be just there. Now, I do want to focus on, I don't care about how tall it is, but I do want to focus on it being within a 16 by 16 like block area in terms of width and length. But the smaller it is in width and length, the better, because that means it'll generate the terrain easier. Explaining that is going to be a little difficult, so I'll just say that. So if you have something smaller that looks pretty cool, there's a higher chance that I'll pick yours as one of the starting things that generates into the New Frontier Craft terrain for as long as New Frontier Craft exists. So although this is not going to be a world that lasts for too long, there might be parts of it that last forever. Now you might be saying, well, I don't want to, you know, go into survival and do this all over again. Well, I actually have the server set up to be sort of a creative mode. Again, I don't think creative mode, like, demolishes your creativity anymore. I just think it really affected modern Minecraft, and it's separating creativity from survival. Now, of course, this is just sort of a one-time thing that I'm going to work on, and I kind of want to reactivate the community. So what you have here is you have access to the /god and access to spawning yourself anything in the game. Now, the other issue is, well, how am I going to spawn a New Frontier Craft items? I'll give you an ID list. I'll make a forum post in the wiki of starting to put up some IDs of some of the blocks and stuff that you build with. And then you can generate them or spawn them in the world. This is probably going to be one of the only like creative-ish New Frontier Craft servers, and I might create these on the occasion for doing this to add in a new structure every update. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Again, this is just to start reactivating the community, because I think we're all kind of dead right now. And actually have a server that we can all do stuff on. In order to protect your stuff, I will have factions set up, so you just protect your land, but they ain't going to blow up anything because it's all going to be protected. Unless they want to blow up their own house. Again, 16 by 16 is actually pretty big. I would limit yourself to 10 by 10. The smaller the better. I mean, it could be simple, could be a house. I don't care. Get creative. And I'll see you next video, or possibly on the server. Links to the server in the description.